No, we are the most trusted team in Service 365. And we're the biggest team in Service 365 because those are the words that I speak. Those are the words that I believe. And that's why you want to make sure when you're saying things, you're saying the words in positive. And another thing which I thought was interesting as I'm reading this book that I just got, it's not so much trying to convince the people around you, but yourself. To be able to say the words to yourself and believe it and watch how things happen for your good. And when you start doing that and just saying it and believing it, and people out of nowhere will come to you. People out of nowhere will want to join your business. They were passing, I don't know if you guys have it in your states, but it's called a Christian Brother Automotive station or whatever. And this Rick was sharing how, oh yeah, that guy who chased me down at church, he's still in the business. He's still active. And I was like, wow. And that was a time where people were just chasing you down, wanting to know what you're doing, how you guys travel in the way you travel. And that continues to happen for us. We don't just, when we go out, we talk to people, just hi. It's so easy to start a conversation. And some people can start a conversation without even trying. And then, of course, some people have to think about it. But I always say, if you're in line, somebody behind you or in front of you, and you want to start a conversation with them, it's so easy to just compliment someone. That is the easiest way to start a conversation, is to compliment them. And if they have a baby and the baby, blah, blah, you figure we were in a store one time and the baby kept throwing the pacifier on the ground behind us. And every time the mom would pick that baby up, he would throw that pacifier on the floor of the store. So you search, and I was like, And here's Rick. Hey, he got an arm on him. He's gonna be ready to throw those balls, you know. And so everybody started laughing and broke the ice and chat. But I was trying to figure out, what am I going to say? Because I could not find something. But Rick, with the sports, he found it, and he said that this little boy will definitely be able to throw that ball. But I was thinking something else. If you throw that pacifier on that floor one more time. But there's a way to start a conversation no matter what. You just have to want to do it. And I find that the easiest way to start a conversation is to just compliment someone. And even today, I was sitting there and I said to the gentleman who was sitting at his post, I said, wow, I'm in the mood to eat. I just started talking about food. And he said, oh yeah. I said, have you heard of this other restaurant? And I mentioned the restaurant, and he said, yeah, I heard about it, but I haven't been. I'm like, oh, you should definitely go there. And then the young lady, the receptionist, pops up and she says, you guys talking about food? And I'm like, yeah, we're talking about food. Have you heard of the Berry Patch restaurant? She went, yeah, they're good, but have you tried the Grit Counter? And I was like, Grit Counter? No. And she told me where it was, and I was familiar with the area. And all I had to do was mention it to Rick. He looks it up on Google real fast, gets the directions, and we're there. We're there having breakfast just that fast. And that was just from starting a conversation and laughing and talking. And then we meet a lady who was born in Aspen, and she moved down to Charleston here. And so we're laughing and talking. We're talking about how you miss the mountains because everything is low country here. So you can't go up a hill and turn around and look down and see all of the housing or anything, because everything is the same level. There is no hills, no nothing. And all you see is trees. So we both agreed that, well, that's one thing that was nice. And then she said, oh yeah, and when you look at the west, you'll see the mountains, so you always know which way is west, east, north, south, because of where the mountains are located. I was like, well, you know, that is true. So it's really interesting when you just start a conversation. She says, come back, and we will go back and we will meet and laugh with her again. So it wasn't a thing where, let me get that card out. When you going back to Colorado? Here, book on my site. It's okay. We'll see her again. Now, if the conversation had came up with travel, then yes, we are the first ones to hand out a business card on our way back from visiting family. Rick, we met a couple and they were here for the first time. And we were like, oh, you got to go check out this place. You got to go check out that place. And Rick on the back of the card wrote Cyphers Gardens, beautiful place. If you come, you definitely want to go there and see it. And wrote down a couple places that we have learned that are very nice to visit when you're down here. And they gave him the information on the back of our card. So, oh yeah, we're travel agents. It's on the back. So that they can take the information, turn it around, and go to our website if they want. If not, it's okay, because we made that connection. And I think when we relax and when we say what we want out of our business to ourselves and mean it, whatever you want out of your business, you say it to yourself and mean it. See, you're your biggest critic. So you have to be able to say, people come to me, I'm prosperous, all the great words that we know that you can say about yourself. Money comes to me easily. I attract positive people. Those are the things that you will say. I attract go-getters. I attract self-starters. I attract, real big team builders. Whatever you want to say to yourself, you say it and mean it. And when you say it to yourself, watch how these things start happening. I think we're in an instant society right now where we feel that, well, I said that 3 times yesterday, so where is it? When you said it 3 times yesterday, did you mean it? When you said it to yourself, did you mean it? And when you said it, was the next sentence, this never works for me? Because we sabotage our own self by our words. Words are powerful. The tongue is powerful. And so you want to really make sure you, and it's a really good game. Rick and I do it all the time. It's like, oh, you don't say that. And Rick will make a joke and he'll say, oh, I was just joking. So you want to even be able to make a game out of it, with a friend, with your spouse, with your kids, with family members, because then you can keep each other in check. But the key to that is when someone does say something negative and you go, oh, you could change that around. Make sure you're saying it nice, not, there you go again with the negative words. No, just say, oh, you could have said that like this, or even talking back and forth, find out what will work for you guys, because that's really good to say, because I'll say to Rick will say something and we'll laugh about it and he'll say, oh, I was just joking. I was like, oh, honey, I know you was just joking. He went, no, but I got to make sure the atmosphere knows that that I was just joking, and I didn't mean anything, because it is really powerful. So you have to watch what you say, and it's I wouldn't say it's hard to do, but it's something that you have to really be aware, because that's just how we are brought up. That's how we were taught. And that's how even the distrust and this and that person did me wrong. So everyone I meet from now on with that name, they the same person like that person in my past. And it's not necessarily the same thing. So you have to really work on it. It is definitely something that you have to work on it. And when you start saying Brenda, those words, yes, go right ahead.
It's a shame, really, but you are absolutely correct with the times that we're in now, with the seriousness of everything that's going on and the conditions that people are in, financial and otherwise, with all of the stresses that everyone's up to. That I've really found that I don't even joke anymore. Period. And it's a shame, you can. Because you don't know where people are, you don't know how they're going to take it, and absolutely correct.
Right.
So it's just at a point now where you could be, fun loving and have fun with it and everything, we're about serious business now, and so we just go in with that mindset that let's stick to the to the script, and
Stick
it'll
to the
just
script,
eliminate.
yeah.
Yeah, it just eliminates things later, maybe after we get to know people or whatever. But I really, what you're saying is true, because people are just on edge, and you will say something, they'll come back with, what did you mean by that?
Yeah.
I, you know, and so
It's so true.
it's just callous. It's where we are. It's where society is. And yes, we do need to be aware of that. Back to you, Brenda.
You know, one of the things, and I was just thinking about this as you was talking, Brenda, as well as Glenn, there's a silent listener that hears every word as a command. And if you don't put it in check, that silent listener is us. And the same thing that you're saying, Glenn, is the reaction that the silent listener, us, has. What you mean by that? You know, that's a voice that we have and a conversation that we have actually with ourselves first, even before anybody else. And unless we put it in check, or at least understand the dynamics of it, then that voice is what takes control. If you say whatever you say is a command, and if you realize that everything that I'm saying is actually a command, filter out all the other things, filter out the actual intent. What did you say? And that voice, that inner self, gets offended real quick. I believe it gets offended even quicker than somebody else hearing the words. But and if you don't come correct, it's gonna say, okay, I got it. I've heard Steve Harvey, and many of us, I'm sure, have heard Steve Harvey, where he talks about that whole thing of the command center when you wake up in the morning, and how whatever command you're giving yourself for the day, there's a whole little work group, that's working inside you that says, okay, boss says it's going to be a great day. Our boss said he's not feeling too good, and anything that you say begins to activate something in the spirit realm within, and you see the results of it. So how do you get out of it? You start off, if it's something that you don't want, then you got to make that assessment. Is this what I really, really want? Do I want to feel bad? Ron, when you was telling me earlier, about of course, Ron and Linda just, awesome, awesome, positive, positive, about your experience with your knee, and how you was able to do something for the first time in a long time, and just basically how you command your day every day. That's where we're at. Over to you.
Well,
Yeah,
Rick,
Rick. Well, people are easily offended today, easily offended, and I mean, they will leave, they will quit because of an offense, the expense of an offense, and
Ooh,
then
that's
there's a
good.
spirit out there. There's a spirit out there that's looking to draw you into confrontation. But we have to be aware of this. Go ahead, Ron.
No, that's true.
a couple years ago, we met an author who is he's a not a psychiatrist. This guy is
He was a neurosurgeon.
neurosurgeon, and he knows more about the brain, and he calls it what our brain operates on highways. And he wrote a book called "What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself?" I recommend it highly.
Yeah, Helmstedler.
Dr. Shad Helmstedler. He's a world-renowned author, and he wrote in the books he's written all have about how what you're saying it completely manifests itself. By the way, there's another book called "Hung by the Tongue," and that's a Christian-based book, and it just says, what we say is what we get, and so it just reinforces what you're saying. Well, all you are saying. The one thing that I guess we have to look at what we're at, where we're at. Lynn and I just had our 50th wedding anniversary. And yeah, we've had those up and downs and everything else like that. But one thing we're learning to do better is that we're maximizing. Hey, Glenn, great to see you. I love it when everybody gets their picture and we see each other live, because to me, that's really important. We just have been blessed and continue to be blessed because part of it is we do understand the Lord is leading us. And I think as we each learn more of that, and I believe this setting that we're all, hi, Chanel, Hi.
Honey.
I gotta say, I can't. Usually we just have the black, so I want to say hi to everybody. This is important. You know, a few months ago, right after I had my knee surgery, when we scheduled it, I forgot that we had also planned to lead a 100-person, 110-person Valentine's Day banquet. When we pulled it off, I was in a wheelchair. But you know, we made a commitment, we had to do it. But it was the first major social event that our church had where it gathered people together in a public setting. And people were just overwhelmed. It was like, and Pastor commented on it. We had our pastor lead a little message before the banquet started, and he pointed out how we are social beings and we need to cling to each other. And there are so many people, Glenn. Part of the reason people are like that is because during the 4 years of jail time called COVID, people were forced. I mean, they were forced not to go to church. They were forced not to talk to somebody. They were forced not to touch anybody. We were forced to have that space 6 feet between each other. The enemy really took control, and we fell for it. We fell for it. Now, I got angry. People literally used to get mad at me because I was angry about it. They locked the doors of my church one Sunday. It's the last time I ever went to that church. You're not going to keep me from worshiping my Lord. And so I fought it. I fought it in my mind and my heart and my spirit. So now we've got this opportunity to bring people back together. That's what we do. And when we're known for that, our team can be magnificent in leading people together. And when that attracts people, that causes people to want to be around us. And then they see the fun we're having. You know, it's amazing. In March, I'm not bragging on us, but we had 4 different cruise ships with people on it in the Caribbean. I thought, Linda, we never had anything like that. That was pretty cool. And we weren't on any of them. They were all people that we booked. We didn't even know the one couple. It was crazy because they bought every single feature that they could. And by the way, they called us March 1st. They said, well, we got to go on a cruise. This is my vacation time. This is when we go. Spring break, right? We got them the last cabin on the ship, and celebration, the big Carnival cruise. They were on a special floor. They call it Cloud 9, and they get a special spa package. They had dinner with the captain, just all kinds of special. Now, these people, they bought everything, including the drink package. I mean, whatever it was, they bought it. I'm just telling you. And I was like, we're just like putting the pedal, trying to put the brake on every time. We'll do this, we'll do. And I'm getting worried that one day he's going to say.
And finally, I whispered to Ron, we get a commission on everything they're extra buying. Shut up.
But yeah, I'm just saying that people knew what we know, they jump us. Not because they want to beat us up, they want to know what we know. And I just love what I want to do is continually spread and I want to be a beacon. I want the Lord to show through what we do. And that's why I believe that's a big part of what's happening to our success. Not so much for us, we're just stepping out of the way and letting the Lord shine. And when we do that, that will draw more of us, more people, more together.
Hey, Ron, talk about the meeting we had yesterday and what led up to the meeting. Glenn is actually setting up a meeting similar. So go ahead and share that experience.
Well, since we came to this new church about a year and a half ago, and we enjoyed it. We felt light and we went there, and they welcomed us. And the first thing I did went to the men's group, and it's been a Saturday morning. Men's steel sharpened steel. It was just incredible meeting, and the pastor that runs the men's group had invited us to church the next day, and Linda was there. It was a men's group. So the next morning we went to church. We've been going ever since, and that came around that we used to put at our old church, and before COVID, we used to run a Valentine's banquet every Valentine's Day, and we hadn't done it in years, and we hadn't done it at this church. Neither had they. We thought if we could get back to our biggest point, that was a super success. It went from 80 to 90 to 95 to 100 to 110. The point is that the one person on the committee said, well, Ron, how are you going to do this? I said, I don't know. We'll just let people know we're doing it. And they came.
But yet, but yesterday it was really neat because one of the gals that we had asked to be on our committee, we purposely asked a young married couple and a young single because we're older and we didn't want everyone to think, oh, this is just
For
a
old
party
people.
for older people. So we got to know Michaela, and so. And she's a very dynamic. She's an executive secretary to the head of the
Large hospital system.
the hospital system that owns like 5 hospitals in Buffalo. But anyways, she's a very dynamic person, and she has a lot of great connections. And so we got talking to her about the funding by travel.
I didn't even tell her it was funding by travel. I said, I'm working on a project. Would you like to help us? I think you might find it interesting. So she came over last night.
And the presentation and
Rick.
Rick, your insights and the presentation itself is just so dynamic. And so we're now with her influence
She's on
and
board.
talking to other people, we'll get in touch with the board. Ron actually will be at church Saturday because the men's group, and then of course we'll both be there Sunday. But it's just, and it just really opened my eyes, that presentation, that there are so many organizations that can take advantage of this funding by travel. And it's just, we give out Vortex cards, of course, ourselves, and we've had some success with that. But just on seeing the big picture, the huge picture that the presentation talks about.
Rick, you helped us help her bridge the gap to understand this powerful tool that can raise a lot of money, a little bit of money or a lot of money. And we went right for the whole hog. We went, well, let's go for 100,000 between now and the end of the year in the discussion. And we can use that because we got the largest food bank in Western New York. We serve 400 to 800 people a week that come to our church, and we have a big facility. And they just spent $1 million expanding. They need money to run it. And we're known to helping and serving the community. And now we can do that even greater. And we talked about the concept of utilizing this program. People are going to, there's a benefit to them. And we're not selling it. We're offering to help people expand. And who isn't interested in being able to expand their dollar, especially when they travel, because the price of gas, price of flying, price of everything's up. Well, then we help them do that. And because out of stewardship, they have chosen to allow our church to benefit financially with our missions, because they use the travel. They're gonna people that would sign up to have the Vortex will end up benefiting, and every time they do, they literally are tithing or giving money to help the church fund the church. I just, it's such a win-win-win program that I get. You can tell we get a little excited.
And I love just the whole point of, if you use hotels.com or Expedia, outside of our organization, they're making, the profit is there. But they're keeping it. And
That's
here
right.
we can do the same thing, actually better, because we our prices that we can offer are so much better. Plus their profit, 60% of it goes back to the organization. I mean, you can't beat that.
You can't beat that.
Then, Rick, you also, well, that was only one thing. That was the focal point. But then we talked about how the church, in the holidays, we have a lot of people. It's that time of year. People are sensitive, trying to help people. Well, at Thanksgiving, we raise money to buy groceries and turkeys. But we could give out gift cards. The travel points, which is a serendipity, and we didn't even talk about that till the end, and very little. But now all of a sudden, be able to using the travel credits to buy gift cards to give out to people. We've got a whole system within the program. You all know this. We can actually create career opportunities for people. I can share this story because it's a true story from start to finish. We had a gal that doesn't even have a car, and she was just getting in between job situations, and she's in her neighborhood. She's like the block mother, and she feeds kids in the neighborhood that need their teenagers and things. They come to her house because it's a safe house. Well, she needed money, so we opened the door and introduced her. You all know her. Her name's Kim, nicknamed Queen. Well, she got started. In her first 30 days, she earned $500. That paid her rent. Those are the kinds of things that we have in our hands every single day. How many people in the next 30 days can we help pay their rent? We can help them to pay their rent and give them something that can grow and go on. Well, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. I'm sorry, Rick. I just get carried away.
Good stuff. No, we're enjoying it. And so Glenn is going to be actually setting up something with the Urban League in Seattle,
Oh,
Good.
and we'll do something very, very similar.
Yeah.
And as you know, when we started with Michaela yesterday, and Glenn, you talk about this all the time, asking, well, what is your vision? What would you use this money for? And so of course she was able to say that. Of course they've got the pantry. And Ron, I didn't know they had $1 million from the city to build a new facility.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
$1 million
Well,
is
expanded.
not
What
expanded.
they want to do is, because right now they like put bags of things together and then hand
Just
it
give
to
it
the
to the
people. We're expanding, or we're expanding so that people can actually come in and shop and pick their
It's like a
own.
little indoor
Like a
store.
free grocery store.
Yes, and because I mean, it's just, if somebody's in need, it's just so much more dignity to be able to go and pick
Pick
out
out what they
something
want.
instead of just have a.
A
I
bag.
mean, mind you, having anything is helpful and wonderful, but just that being able to choose what you need and what you want.
And will allow the church to put more things on the shelf. And so we're really
So you
excited
can
about that.
imagine showing this presentation to them,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
Michaela, where this is their food pantry,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where they're expanding it for real. I mean, it's not made up.
Yeah.
But then being able to say to her, instead of a grocery area, you may want to also have an area for clothing,
Expand it. Yes.
like Goodwill, or, where you've got clothing there. And you may, in a different location, want to be able to have where you have sheltering and housing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
We
taking
have
it one
space
step,
on our property.
we have space, we're taking it one step further. You may want to open it up for senior services. So this is not beyond the scope of what they're trying to do. So you can imagine us doing the presentation for them and then giving them an example of how you would actually operate. And so, Glenn, this is what we would do for the Urban League president as well, who's looking to raise 600,000. Maybe start with 100,000 or 200,000. I'd say start with 100,000 just to see how it goes, and set up a campaign. Now, you guys have heard me say the beginning of the campaign is really just to sign up. Can you get 100? Can you get 10,000 or whatever number people signed up? And that's it. We're not even asking you to book. We just need you to register to be ready to book. And then of course we know we have the 10,000 virtual invites, and I volunteered, Ron and Linda to Michaela that give them a membership list and they'll type away.
Mm-hmm.
Rick,
Uh-huh.
another aspect, while we were doing this presentation, Michaela goes, well, my mom's on the board.
And her
I
mom's
didn't
on
know
the
that.
board.
This all came about. I certainly, yes, because obviously I knew that she grew up in the church, and I knew her father is one of the pastors that runs the men's ministries. But I haven't said much in the last year and a half because up until recently I'm recovering from the surgery and stuff like that. I wanted to be healthy again to be able to, launch this and be able to because there'll be a lot of questions and stuff as we move forward to put the presentation together. We're going to meet again to go through. So she's totally comfortable after we went through how it works and showed her the booking and how that program, and we showed the savings. We demonstrated the different ways and how it can accomplish and where it can go. Rick, it was just so concise, clear, and peaceful.
And exciting.
Yeah.
He
And
says
exciting.
people, I say exciting.
And it aligned with what she was trying to do. Now here, just a couple of slides from the first presentation. What I like about the one we did is it's an example. This one is really just information, that the tourism industry increased 64% after COVID, that people booking online up 93% in 12 months. And it talks about air, and it talks about scenic transportation and renting cars. And 80% are planning trips strictly for leisure this year. International and tourism, 182%. And I mean, it's huge of what we're doing. And then looking at associations, look at how many associations. We know there's even more than this. And but being able to leverage it to add that value, to drive the loyalty, to reduce attrition with organizations, and using the program to do that. Now, one of the things that's really interesting, by the way, it's $420. So if you're bringing someone in to the business, you go to your sign-up site and you bring them in for $79. Complete that transaction. Then you log in to their back office at My.Surge 365. And within 10 days, if you upgrade, because that's where you upgrade once you go to your site and sign them up for $79, now go to their back office, log in, click upgrade to purchase the travel package, the technology travel package. And then that's where you upgrade. It's going to deduct the $79. So they're really coming in for $420.
That's incredible.
Now, what I did is I made a mistake the first time because I didn't know the process. And so remember how we used to do it? We go to the $79, we sign them up for $79, and then we turn around and sign them up for the 400 some odd dollars, right at our site. And what it did is it actually charged her $579 like in the old days. And so the instruction, there was no Rick, sign them up for $79 and log into their back office now, upgrade them from their back office, and it's only going to deduct, it'll deduct the 79, so it'll only charge the card $420. $420 for these 3 programs and more.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
Rick,
Go ahead.
if someone is going to open a Subway sub shop, the franchise now is over a $250,000 plus the building, plus the equipment, plus the insurance, plus the personnel, plus whatever expenses you have to feed the city, the town, wherever you build and live. And then you got to pay the rent and the overhead to do it. That's to have a sub shop. That's pretty, and most of them do succeed, but that's why it costs so much for them. But then how many people are in a position to ever get one of those? And somebody who might even be economically upside down, they're never going to get it. So we have a real program that is such a value. When you put this in Linda and I's hand, we had dreamed to go to Europe on a Viking River cruise for years. We got Viking River Cruise had spent more money on us sending us brochures for years, even when we lived in Jamestown, New York, and moved back to Buffalo in '85. We actually, and then like I said, when we went on a trip, when we joined you in the team, we ended up and we got on that cruise. And by the way, I got to get cream of wheat every morning because it's what I love for breakfast.
All you can eat.
All you can eat, and that was just incredible that happened for us. It was excited us. We didn't end up starting a large business. This was not smart. Had we followed the plan, we could have had more of a team put together. We would have made more money. But the experiences that we've had, like I said, last month we had 4 ships with people on cruise ships with 4 different couples on four different ships.
Awesome.
And this month we got even more going. So we know how to do this. Became a mission specialist because I learned through the system and the connections because of the training that we've got to back us up. Rick, I'd just like to say this one thing. Linda reminded me last night after we were done. We have a big organization. It's a hockey ice rink, twin rinks they call it. And last fall, they have hockey teams that travel teams, and they come to Buffalo, and they have to stay in hotels and book hotels, but they go to other places, cities, Canada and Pennsylvania and Ohio, and they travel and they got to book hotels every time. Well, they had a problem. Carbon monoxide had 100 people in the hospital. This company, the owner of this company, probably a family owns it. I'm going now. I'm going to go to see them, and I'm going to sit down with the owner and say, look, how would you like to offer to every one of those people that every day, every week, you've got people coming here for hockey tournaments? How about if you had this program? And I'm going to have him offer all their people for free a Vortex card.
I like
And
that.
now he could provide discounts and lower the cost of the people that come there. And this is an incredible
And it would
benefit.
be a positive for him since it was such a negative because they had
Experience.
the medical.
And there's
problem.
other organizations, baseball teams, soccer teams. There's all kinds. We have a lady that used to work for AAA. We met her at our medical health company, and she used to be AAA, and now she wants to get back in the travel business. And she had asked us if we could help her arrange hotels for her daughters on one of the championship teams. We got to follow back up with her, but I'm going to this twin rinks. I'm going to call them and make an appointment, and I'm going over to show them the same presentation of how, because whenever they book, the people that use it, they're going to know they get a benefit. They're going to be more loyal to this organization. It was not very positive. The news media did a real job on the owner, and
that's
I'm
terrible.
sure it's had a fallout. Now we're going to offer him the opportunity to really reverse in the community what he's doing for people. And
That's awesome.
they would be grateful. And then we're going to turn around. Then they get the benefit of the travel points. I mean, all the serendipities that are here.
Oh man, yeah. The reward credits. They'll have corporate level reward credits to comp folks who can't pay for their tickets or whatever. They'll have the reward credits because they spend like cash. And so they can actually start a program. You can remember this. They can actually start a program to sponsor some of the players or to send stipends for some of the players that need to fly in that may not necessarily have the cash to fly in.
Yeah.
And they may give out, okay, we'll give out however many hotel stays to the first whatever, if they have an event. First 100 that come, you're going to get a free hotel stay. Just pay for it with the reward credits. Or it doesn't have to be 100, whatever number. Or they can do the gift cards because 2,500 reward credits is $25 gift card. And so now they got their money, corporate level money. Now they've got corporate level reward credits that they can use however they choose, right? So they can hold their money and just use the reward credits.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So we think outside of the box. That's the thing of our team is
Hello, Rick.
think. Yes, go right ahead, Glenn.
Let me just give a little bit of history because nobody else has done or is doing what we do with this funding by travel for the organizations.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking here what we've heard. We're talking what we know, what we've done.
That's right.
There was two Rick and Vaughn came out here to do a Super Saturday, and the community center that we did the Super Saturday at was owned by a church, and at that event we connected with the bishop that was in charge, that was the pastor over the whole facility with connections. And I told him about the program that we had, and he actually jogged, ran over to his office from the community center and came back with his business card and gave it to me. We knew that Rick was going to be in town. We set up a meeting with the bishop. We got our strategy together. And oh, by the way, before we go in on any of these, you know, Rick customizes the presentation for the organization after we research them.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't go in there, you know, unprepared.
Right.
Okay, we set up the meeting, we go to his office, we walk in, we sit down, we introduce each other, and Rick sets his laptop on the table. We learn something new every time we go in. The conversation begins. What is your vision? Then just listen. Just listen. He goes on, he goes on. Guess what? The laptop never opened. We never got to that formal thing. Enough was said, and you know, you go with the flow. Be prepared to show that presentation, but he didn't have to. But within the next half an hour, he had his credit card out in our hands. Okay, he came on board. He brought that community center with him. And after Rick left, I mean, okay, so we learned from that. We debriefed the strategies. The Marvin Williams Center, that was on us. Okay, working together with Rick, of course. We had to present in front of the board. The board. And all it takes is one negative person. And of course, that person is going to speak up first. Be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A contrarian, Glenn. A contrarian.
It's true.
So we went in there, we presented the presentation. The only one person that needed to see it saw it. And within the next day, we had the credit card and had them on board. That's 2 community centers with 2 churches.
Wow.
This is what I want to pass along. You ever heard this? The fortune is in the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And this is what we learned off of these experiences. What happens after you get them on board is all important. And they have to be ready. And guess what? It's us, because we brought them the program. We have to train the trainer, whoever's going to be next to take it forth. It's the leadership's job to bring the congregation on board, or the supporters. We got all that in place for campaigns to get the word out, but that has to happen. It's got to be action steps next.
Mm-hmm.
So that the people will support a cause that they believe in, but they got to get the information out there, and they got to act. It's got to be action so that they know what's happening here, and they get on board. That's what has to happen next.
Yes.
We ran into some obstacles with people jockeying for positions. It got selfish, but the leadership needs to know this is the next steps that we need to take. So I'm going to call it next steps. What are the next steps to kick this thing in and get this program rolling immediately?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have learned. So go ahead, Ron.
Good.
Well, Glenn, you a real good
Good.
point to that. What I find is important that helps with I'll call it the buy-in. When
Mhm.
people truly understand, I call it in the church, I call it stewardship. What people normally don't do is tell anybody where they're traveling only after they've been there, because there's such a sense of, well, I took money that I should have put in the offering plate or support the mission to go for myself. Now they can go on their trip and feel that their stewardship is going to support our mission, our church. And it gives a positive input and buy-in that what they're living in their life and doing can actually be more. They can end up giving more than they may give in an offering.
But Glenn,
Good.
what you had said about follow-up, and that's so important. In fact, it's kind of built into the presentation when, there's things that have to be done, get that information, get a flyer out, get an email system out,
Campaign.
something,
Yeah.
get that campaign going right away. And that's one thing too that, Rick, you have in the presentation, but it has to be done and it has to be followed up. I mean, we've talked to people about travel and they're excited, but if we can never get in touch with them again, it's like, well, we convinced ourselves again, but, we need to, follow up. So Glenn, what you said, the follow-up is so important.
That is so true. One of the things that we have on the table now is, and everybody knows, fundingbytravel.com. And so if you haven't been there in a while, if you want to learn what this is all about, beyond what you already know, go there. This is fundingbytravel.com that you see. Listen to the 13-minute presentation that talks about what it is. And one of the things I realized, yep, we've got the presentation that talks about what it is, but how does it work? And then that's the second presentation that we just added to fundingbytravel.com, the Good Hope presentation that we did with Vaughn. And so you can go here and you can use this for our training as well. Listen, get a notepad, listen to one of the things that we're saying and the key points that jump out to you as I'm describing what it is, and then go to the community engagement example, and then also write down the key items about this. And like Glenn was saying, you may want to say, okay, if I'm going to be doing this presentation, I want to identify the vision. I want them to tell me. If you notice, I had put McKellar on the spot yesterday.
Yes.
Tell me about your vision. What would you do with the money? And so that sets the whole pace of what's going on and shows that we are concerned about supporting them versus just ourselves. We're the afterthought. How can I help you? How can I support you? The other key piece is we're not asking people to book. The campaign is get registered, get registered, get registered, get registered. Your success is in the numbers of registration, not in the people booking. That comes afterwards because that doesn't happen if they don't get registered. And so it's a private, personal booking engine, that is personal, private to them. And see, we're stressing that, not, oh, you got to sign up, we got to sign in. No, it's personal. It's a private, your own personal, private booking engine. And so that's the highlight. And that's why they want it, because there's no blackout periods. You can come to it whenever you want, and it's yours, right? Personalized to you. And so these two presentations, if you look at them and you study them, you got it. What I love hearing you guys talk is you got it. And you got the vision, you understand. Ron, you talking about the rink, you understand. Now, the important point that Ron mentioned was that not only the money, but the power of the reward credits. I was listening to somebody that was telling me how Starbucks, their money is not necessarily in the coffee, their money is in the gift cards because it's like delayed profit that just sits there and they don't have to do anything with it. They don't have to declare it. They don't have to do it. Our gift cards, our reward credits are just like that. The power is in the reward credit. And being able to use those reward credits because it's passive income. And so Ron, if you're doing the gift on the ice rink, yes, they'll make so much money. And I think that's a great idea because, especially with the bad publicity and being able to say, hey, we appreciate your business. Here's a discount travel card that's going to save you all some money. Now, one thing I learned from talking to Charles Nicholson yesterday is that, and I realized this, but it didn't really sink in. The savings are in the hotels and the cars.
Yes.
Not the cruises anymore.
Oh,
Cruise is going to be competitively priced, but if we're going through the vortex, it's going to be a good price because it's live inventory. But the savings, of course, the greater savings are in the hotels, but also in the car rentals. So those two items, and then of course they can book their flights and the cars. Now they're still getting reward credits on everything. So if they book their flights, even though it's competitively priced, as well as the cruises, we're earning reward credits. Whomever has the vortex, they're earning the reward credits. And that's a big deal. Anything else on that before we change subject?
Rick, one of the things that I do when we're in the process of this discussion for anybody, I always explain to them that about 20 years ago, the airlines decided they used to pay a commission to the travel agents. The book used to get 20 bucks a flight. That went away. They don't pay, like most airlines, you have to pay for luggage, or gas stations, you gotta pay them more, and you gotta pump it. What happened is that market changed, and that avenue of revenue sharing went away. So
Hey,
we have
Ron,
to do that, but we don't promote that.
Ron, we still
Yes,
have the ability as travel agents to do that, but just generally, yes, that's true. However, as travel agents, we have booking sites where we can actually add commissions if we want as a travel
yes.
agent. Where we can
Hey,
actually say,
Rick.
I want to earn $25 or I want to earn $50. And
Mhm.
so we do have like fair, what is it? What's the name of the website? We have several different websites where as travel agents, we can add our commission. The general
Fairbuzz.
commissions have gone away.
Fairbuzz was one of them.
Fairbuzz, what's that?
I think Fairbuzz was one of them.
Yeah, Fairbuzz.
And yeah, and I think they there was an announcement maybe last year by the company that said that they negotiated airfare prices as far as the vortex goes. So they're going to be competitively priced, but they still you'll find some value in those tickets. So there are savings available. You just got to look.
So for the public, yes, even for just regular, but we do as travel agents have access to sites where we can actually add a commission, which is getting paid for our work.
For the time,
Service.
for the time when I worked at the law firm, it's been 1 year yesterday that I'm free, yay! But anyways, when we would book, they would, use a corporate travel agent, and they were right up front, they charged $28, and it was just, for their time and effort. And so, and it's perfectly, and they were upfront about it,
Oh, yeah.
and we can be too, because it is a time commitment, and our time's worth, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So one site is Fairbuzz. You say something, Chantel?
Yes, on that note, there was a great training with corporate Tribemanity on Tuesday night. They covered a lot of this. And
Oh,
I would go
missed that
back and view that. It was absolutely very informational. Some things I had never heard before. And there's all these questions you have here, they're talking about all of it. And
That's every
it
Tuesday,
was
right?
phenomenal. But
Okay, good.
this one was the agents could actually send in questions from the field. And they
That's
answered
right.
all the questions. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Because we were
So,
on it
yeah.
last week, and I remember them saying that, and then we
missed
It was
Tuesday.
really, 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 really
Do they
good.
tape those? I don't think they tape those, huh?
Yes, it is in
Yeah.
the
Yes, they
Tribemanity
do.
back
Yeah.
office. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll go on and take a look at that.
And I have a ticket in with Elizabeth Monroe. I'm waiting for a response on the new email we just received because I want clarification on the 79 on the SBA.
Yes, yes.
Clarification so we're getting the right information out with that sign up, the way that goes. If they're still charging them for the 79 or not. So I
Oh, I
did
just
send her
said
some
that. They're not.
information.
They're not. So,
Okay, great.
yeah,
That's what I need to know.
I already asked her. In fact, I
Okay,
posted
great.
it. I'll repost her response on our group chat. But like you sign people up, and like in the past, we would sign them up for the $79. You go to your sign up site and you sign up for the $79. You use their email, and then once they come in as an SBA, you've got their password, their username and password. So they're in the system. Now they've got their site up. Now you go into their back office, my.surge365.com, log in using that username, their password into their back office. And in their back office is where they can upgrade to the technology package for $499. So when we click on that upgrade, because if it's within the 10 days, the credit card is only going to be charged $420, so they subtract that $79 in the system
So
automatically.
Got it.
okay, yeah, that's how I signed up the ones who upgraded a few months ago. Well, almost a year ago. But my other question is, so the SBA is going to be for the training and the marketing, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I need to know.
Yep, the
And
SBA is the training and the marketing and the back office and the hurdler and the Touch 365 and just the whole marketing side of the business. And then, of course, the travel technology package is the travel side. The travel technology package is direct sales, not network marketing. We use the circle of friends marketing, network marketing uh, concept to build the team. And those are two separate. So if somebody asks, is it network marketing? Do you like network marketing? But it's not, but it is, if you want to build. But if a person says, like Brenda and I for the first year, no, we just want to use it. It's not network marketing, but there's a lot of people, more than not, I believe, that understand the concept of network marketing more and more, which brings me to a point. The groups that I'm working with now understand network marketing, with this business that we're launching, and they're connecting me to network marketers, that have been network marketers for years, and they understand, they're like Joe, Ron, they're like Joe, they
Yep.
understand, they're like Burrow, Burrow Park. They understand the power of network marketing. And so it's not something that you're shying away from. Now, this is the most interesting thing. Don't fear the path that God takes you down. Because when God initially took me down this path of helping these folks launch a business, I'm like, I don't know. I want to stay in my lane. My lane is travel. Little did I know he was taking me down the travel path where the guy who's starting this business says, hey, Rick, I want to sign up for Surge. He signs up. Then yesterday he connected me to this major guy who's a network marketer that loves travel and that understands that, travel, 9 billion people were locked down and now travel is the going thing. And so this guy has connected me to other guys that, want to get a piece of the travel industry. I would have never known if I had have backed out,
Right?
said, no, I want to stay in my lane, which is travel, not help you do this thing, I would have missed that whole thing. And so often in life, we see things ahead of us as obstacles, but actually they're doors. They're doors to get to where we need to get to for the next level. And so the point is, don't be afraid to knock down those doors or to knock on those doors because they will open on command. The thing that I'm even doing even now, that I'm going down this path of unknown, I'm taking it one step at a time and doing the next best thing one step at a time versus thinking of the overall process, which is unknown and freaking out. I'm
Hey,
taking
Rick.
a step at a time. Go right ahead.
Hey, Rick. One of the things is just when I think about everything we've talked about, and it just brings an excitement when you bring this to an organization or say a school that's trying to raise, for example, $50,000, and you realize if they use the vortex, the way the system works and the way the strategy works, if they use the vortex and receive $50 average of donations, that equals 7,500 reward points per booking. And you got a whole community behind this one project, this one drive. And if they earn their target market or if they earn their target budget, 50,000, imagine what that equate to when you times that by 3 in reward points. And that's basically, quote unquote, free money in a
That's
sense,
huge.
because it's generated by the vortex. was generated by participation. So it's almost like a byproduct of using the vortex. Yes, you get the donations, but the real key is right there in the system, the reward points. I mean, $50 donation equals 7,500 reward points. Wow.
That's huge.
Now multiply that.
Yeah. That's a big, what we have, and what really opened my eyes is the parent company that purchased Savon, and how they dropped everything they were previously doing and converted the entire company operations to the membership program and loyalty program, and presenting at the enterprise corporate level to organizations, to businesses, to churches, and making the case, explaining why they need a membership program that they can offer to their members as that will increase retention, and that will increase loyalty. And I was like, wow. And they're charging them a ton of money. And here we have the vortex, and I got a call from Charles Nicholson yesterday, and what we're doing is we're just confirming the profit that's still available in the vortex, just to make sure. And so he had a call in to Clint, who is confirming right now the 60%, of course, of whatever the savings are. And so when Charles called me asking me about that, I said, yeah, definitely confirm that. We want to make sure. But then I looked at, we've got the 3 reports. We've got the report when people sign up. We've got the report when people book that shows your pending commission. And then we have the report when they send you a check. And so I went to mine just to see. And sure enough, I saw when I looked at my check report that I earned $27 from someone booking a hotel. So it was something I knew, but I said, yeah, sure. Go ahead and make sure and confirm that with Clint. And like you're saying, Ed, this is a process that we have that gives us access to a profit that Expedia makes $98 billion. Now online booking is at $1 trillion, growing, and we have unlimited access based on the group. So Ron, when you do the rinks and the guy says, hey, you know what? That's a great program. I need to give this link out to all the families, all our members, and let them know that, hey, put it on the website. Here's a free link that's going to give you discount travel. It's going to save you on your travel. At least use it or look at it, compare it. And
It's incredible.
And then, like you're saying, Ed, not only are they getting the money, 60%, that they don't even have to manage. And that's what these guys I'm talking to now love it. He said, Rick, I don't have any products or nothing. He said, what I like about this is that there's no process. Yeah. You don't have to buy a fleet of 747s. You don't have to buy, cruise ships or a fleet of rental cars. No. We're making money like Expedia. We're overriding the return of travel. Over to you, Brenda.
Rick, can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
It really demonstrates that whether it's Carnival or NCL or American Airlines or Holiday Inn or Enterprise Car Rental, they work for us. They work for us. All these companies now, if you think about it, we got all these companies and people working for us and our causes. And, it reminds me like a real specific benefit process that working for the church, a program set up for a church. There are times that families have situations where someone dies out of town or they have a fire and they got to live in a motel. Every church usually, the pastor usually has it, or the deacon board has some money, and they'll give it to somebody in an emergency sense. When you got the travel credits in the vault and they're good for 10 years, when that happens, there's no question, do we have enough money in the vault? Because we have an ongoing growing amount, and the points are good for 10 years, so they do accumulate. But
the travel credits are good for 10 years. The shopping credits are good for 7 years.
Oh, wow. I mean, come on. Let's talk about food.
I saw that in my back office, and I'm like, 7 years. So here's the other piece. to what you're saying, Ron, not to totally cut you off there. So, but the other piece to what you're saying is like for the church, you're getting supplies, maybe Home Depot, maybe, whatever store. Buy those supplies through the shopping online and earn reward credits on those supplies. We bought a water heater from Home Depot, 927 reward credits. We use those reward credits to actually rent a car. So back to you.
Well, I'm just, the more we talk about it, the more comfortable I am that we really have such an advantage. And I know the Lord is just going to bring to each one of us. We all are in different circumstances. We're all in different cities, and there are different circumstances that we can fit. Like this situation that happened at Twin Rinks, they've got 150 hockey teams that book every weekend or
Yeah.
every week. So this is an ongoing. I mean, you talk about a real cash stream that can come back to that organization, and everybody's going to think this guy is really the owner of the rinks. They got these families, and one of my guy that does my hearing aids, which tomorrow I'm going to finally get my hearing aids back and turned on. I can't hear, guys. So, his son is in a traveling league. Yeah, every time I see him, well, go out. Greg, how's it going? Well, I don't know. We're going to here. We're going to Canada. We got to go there. He's always telling me every week they're going to a different city to go to a hockey tournament.
Wow.
And they're spending money in hotels all over the country, but right now he's using online ExpediaHotels.com, and he thinks he's getting a great deal. And the hockey league may try to make an arrangement with the hotel, and they may give him a 10% or something, a very minor discount. We really can show, and when we show the power of the Vortex, how they can see what the competition is selling the product for, but then they don't even tell them what they're going to really pay because taxes and convention fees or bed tax aren't included. They show them a price. Then we show them our price, which is lower, including those things and the taxes. We just blow them out of the water. And it really is a value. We have, like I said, if people know what we know, they be jumping us.
They be jumping us. So as I was saying earlier, the vision, getting them to explain the vision, and then at some point, and how much they need to raise, what they're going to use it for, and then showing them a demonstration of the Vortex. That's why I was asking Michaela, have you ever booked online? And I mean, she hasn't, if she doesn't know, but it's okay. Because we showed her now is a demonstration of the Vortex before going into the presentation to get the aha effect that, wow. And so this is the 60% of the savings. You see these savings right here? Okay, 60% of those savings. Here is a known hotel. Here is the Expedia price. I go to Expedia. Here are the savings. And here's what the person is paying with tax identified on the Vortex. Once that aha moment is there, now they're ready for the presentation. And then you go into the presentation. Over to you, Brenda.
That's right. And sometimes they don't even want the presentation. That's more than enough information. So learn to read the room.
That's
learn
true.
To read the room, because a lot of times
you
don't even have to get into. Yeah, you do, because you want to be able to know exactly how much information to give out. Because a lot of times we think, because we are concerned about how the money's made, or how do we book travel, or where do we find this information out. A lot of times people don't even care about that. They just want to get started. They might not even want to know about the concierge right away. So just learn to read the room.
That's
Remember
true.
to always speak to yourself in a positive. Yes, we're going to go in here and sign these people up. Yes, we're going to get these people going, because that's what they need and that's what they want, and that's what we're going to focus on. And I think when you get those words going over and over again, you're going to see some powerful results. People just come to you. People just show up, and they're ready to get started and work your Surge 365 business. So remember, it's what you're giving out too, that energy that you're giving out. Make sure you keep it positive, because that's what people are going to pick up on. But
Hey, Brenda,
anybody else?
Let me say that if you go in there, always have Rick with us, if that's applicable. But make sure you know your business before you go in there, because there have been times when I knew organizations, the head of the organization personally, and you know what? They didn't want to hear what Rick had to say. They wanted to know what I knew. If I knew, you know what I mean?
Yes, that's
So
true.
you be ready. And then I got Rick there. If for questions or whatever, if Rick can be there, I'm gonna have Rick right there. I don't care how far up we get with this thing, because he is the chief visionary officer. But you be prepared. Back to you, Brenda.
You have to know something. Ed, did you want to share?
Yeah, just going off of what Glenn said, is you have to be educated about your business, because you, when you enter the room, are the primary and only educator. You know everything about this business because you have all the access to it. The people in the room don't know anything. So to take the stress off of trying to make a sale, that's not really our goal point. Our goal point is to educate. Once you educate someone, they can make their own decision, and they'll make it when they're ready to make it. But you got to make sure that you can bring across the benefits and everything that this business has, which is a lot, across whoever you're talking to. So just to take pressure off of yourself is, I got to make a sale. I got to make a sale. Yeah, that'll come. But that'll come with education, and you can't deny that because we see it every day, every time turning on TV. It's called a commercial. What are they doing? They're educating you on a product. It's up to you to say, hey, I want that. But they're going to put it out there as much as they want to put it out there. They're paying billions to do it. We do it for free, in a sense.
That's true. Yeah. All righty. Thanks, Ed. Anybody else? Wow, that was good. A lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and it's all about what you believe you could do. And you could do it all, really, because we have it all. And when you enter a room, no, they don't know as much as you know about Surge. And so just share it. Be honest, be truthful, because you know what you know, and you know that Surge works, especially when you're using your own product. And that's what I love about our business. Yes, they change things on us, but when we look at it down the line, it's always for the good, and getting people to focus on what's really, really important, and getting folks up to that $500 for the membership and all else that goes with it. It should be all of our goals, because don't forget, those $1,000 bonuses are still waiting. Those $10,000 bonuses are still waiting. And I would love to have one. You know, my birthday, May is my birthday month. And so I could deal with a nice little $10,000.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that
Yes,
right
yes.
quick.
I think we should. I think
Now
we
here's the
really
other
should.
deal. Don't worry about anything the company does. They got it covered. Just do what we do. And I really actually like the fact that we focus on the power team or the team builder, because everything else is a distraction. You know, even with the $79, it's all good. We focus because some people were stuck on the $79 program anyway, and they never moved from it. You know, and if you think about, you know, the coach days back in the day, work the power team, work the team builder, drive it deep,
Yeah, that was
get
it.
the $1,000 bonuses going, get the $1,000 bonuses going, and that is the focus. It was great what they did for that period of time, but the power of our company is they're able to make real-time decisions to make the right decisions, and that a lot of companies can't pivot on a dime like that. But one of the things that we have learned, who have been around, the company always makes the right decisions, and we have learned to trust them in that decision, you know, for the best of the company. And so don't get distracted by anything, you know, because that's part of that energy of distraction. Stay focused on the vision, stay focused on the next best step, and watch what happens. We are, I believe, in position to explode. You know, I believe
Yes, we are.
all in that place of promotion
Absolutely.
and walk in that promotion. Don't let anything distract you from that promotion. Pursue it, you know. In fact, it'll chase you down. Back to you, Linda.
It'll chase you down. That's right. Anybody else? Wow. Well, I'm looking at the time, and we always have these great calls full of knowledge. I think also I'll probably go back and listen to that those Tuesday travel calls are really good, and
Yes.
they're always there. And see, there's a lot of information in our back office, and I was reading something the other day, how to become a millionaire, and one of the things they said was read 2 pages a day. And what I thought was interesting, they didn't say read 2 pages of a book a day. They just said read 2 pages. And I took that, oh, I thought you could also read 2 pages or read 2 different things about your business a day and watch how you begin to learn and absorb, because that's what it's all about. It's all about learning and absorbing, and also being a very good listener was number 1, being a very good listener. I thought that was interesting because when you listen, people will tell you everything you need to know, but you have to be quiet enough to listen. And you know, when you're doing the closing, I forget what they say, the first person who talks loses, something like that. So just listen. It's really powerful. That's a powerful statement in just listening. It's okay to listen, because not necessarily all the time you need to be heard, but you always need to listen. So, you know what I love to say? We are the most trusted travel team in Surge 365. I see it happening. We are there. We are going to be traveling the beaches of the world like we've done in the past and like we're going to do in the future. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Sunday's call. We're not going to start that up because that's a whole other conversation. But Rick will be posting what we're going to be talking about. So everybody have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you on the beaches of the world. Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.